It's Siren from SirensSerenity shop and apothecary, and I'm finally back with a brand new video, and I'm really excited because this is actually the first video of my Ancestor Connecting to Your Lineage series. So this is my first series on this channel, and yeah, I'm really excited about it. So I wanted this video to be kind of like an intro to the series, just talking about who are our ancestors and why we would want to connect with them and to work with them. So I have been working with my ancestors for some time now, and it has really changed myself, but also my spirituality and my business. And it's something that I've actually wanted to talk about on this channel for a long time. I actually wrote these notes. I dated it in April. So I've had these notes, and I recently did add to them, but I've had these notes done since April. Okay, so I think that it's time, right? I actually had this, I was meditating like a week ago, and I had this download, and it was like, it's time to really start getting into some ancestor work on your channel. Also some protective work. What I heard was, and I don't want to say this to scare anybody or anything, but during my meditation, like, we have not seen anything yet regarding how 2020 has just been a really weird, crazy, hard year. I don't think that is going to end anytime soon. So what my guides were telling me is that it's really important for people to really connect with their ancestors right now, and also connect with their guides and their guardian angels. And I plan on doing a series about that too. And also right now, people need to really know how to and to work on protection and layers of protection over your spirituality, like psychic protection, physical protection, in all shapes and form, protecting your home and your body and your family and things like that. So I plan on doing a series about layers of protection. Okay, so yeah, let's get into about ancestors and why you would want to start working with your ancestors. Actually, we're going to start with who are your ancestors, okay? And then we will go into why and how you would want to work with them. And I want to say this too, that I'm going to talk about ancestor altars a little bit in this video, but I plan on doing a whole video regarding ancestor altars, how to make one, everything that you will need. I will go over offerings. I will go over the elements that you need on your altar. I'm going to go over everything you need to know about your ancestor altar, but I don't want to do it in this video because it'll be way too long. So I'm going to refer to ancestor altars a little bit in this video, but my next video is going to be all about creating and making and setting up your own ancestor altar. So who are your ancestors? So for me, in my opinion, your ancestors are those of your family that have passed on already. So this can be grandparents, this could be great-grandparents, great-great-grandparents, and so on. It could be aunts, it could be cousins, it could be parents, anybody that within your bloodline that has already passed on, okay? So I know a lot of people are like, well, I don't really know a lot of my family that passed on, or, like me, my real dad, my birth dad, he left when I was a baby, so I've never met him, and I've also never met his side of the family. That side of the family happens to be my African American side of the family. So I have never known any of that side of me, that side of my family. So that was always something that I always wanted to learn and I always wanted to know. And honestly, that's why I wanted to start working with my ancestors. So I bring this up to say that you do not have to know every single one of your ancestors that you plan on working with, okay? So you are just going to, you know, work with your ancestors. You're going to say you're going to work with your ancestors, known and unknown, that are for your greatest good. And I will talk more about that when we talk about altars in my next video. Okay, so you don't necessarily have to know or know of or even have names of your ancestors, okay? But let's say you were adopted and, you know, you don't know anybody from, you know, your blood, your bloodline, your lineage. That's okay. Okay, so if you have somebody that was, you know, a step parent that passed away, somebody, you know, that you were very close with, or you had a bond with, or like say you had a mentor in your life, or someone that you just really feel that was in your life for a reason, and you had a deep connection and they weren't blood related to you and they passed away or transitioned, I believe that can be a type of ancestor for you. Okay, if not, if some people don't believe that that's an ancestor, that's okay. I mean, it's definitely some type of guide or, you know, guardian angel that was sent to you. But if you absolutely don't know have any blood relatives or anything like that, but you have people that were close to you in your life and that you feel that they came into your life for a reason and they have transitioned, I think that is okay to use them, you know, as an ancestor, or at least as, you know, a guide or an angel at very least. So next, I do want to just add this in here right now, and I will talk more about this later on in my altar video, but I do want to say that not every ancestor is a spirit that you want to be working with. Okay, so I forget where I heard this from. I think it was maybe the Trap Witch back in the day. I'm not for sure though, so don't quote me on this, but I heard it from someone and it really resonated with me. And it was like, you know, in our physical lives right now, like you probably have an aunt, an uncle, or a parent, or, you know, somebody that you probably wouldn't go to seek wisdom and guidance. Someone that, you know what I mean, might not be the greatest person, who might have, you know, energy that you don't want to work with. Okay, so same goes for your ancestors and spirits. And there's some of them, you know, that don't always have the best energy or the best intentions. Okay, so what you do in this situation is, when you are calling, after you have your altar and all of that set up, when you call in your ancestors, you want to call in your ancestors and say something along the lines of, I call in my ancestors, known and unknown, that are for my greatest good, or that are you know, positive and, you know, for my highest, greatest good. Something that lets the spirits know and lets the universe know that you're only trying to contact and communicate with your ancestors that are for you, that love you, that want to help you, that want to connect with you. Okay, so that's always, and this really can go for, you know, any type of spirit work, or if you're, you know, channeling guides, or, you know, anything like that. You are in the driver's seat when it comes to working with spirits and your ancestors, and you always need to, you know, let them know that you ain't dealing with no bullshit, and you want spirits that love you and that want to work with you and that are for your greatest good. Okay, so next we are going to get into why you would want to start working with your ancestors. Okay, so number one for me is you are literally the manifestation of all of your ancestors' dreams. Like, I envision this as like hundreds of years ago, you know, my people, my ancestors, they dreamt of me, and they knew for some reason that there someone like me, that me with my energy, with my wisdom, things like that, I needed to be born on this planet for a reason. And my ancestors, they manifested me, and your ancestors manifested you. Okay, so they want to connect with you. Their souls are still alive. Okay, so I think about the fact that our eyes can only see to a certain point on the light spectrum. There is so much out there that we cannot physically see. And so that just amazes me to think like what all is just around me right now that I physically can't see with my eyeballs. But it makes me just think that, my ancestor spirits are still all around, okay? And your ancestor spirits are all around you, and they want to work with you, and they want to share their love with you, and they want you to share their love with them, and they still want you to talk to them and to communicate with them. Okay, so once you have your altar, that's the most sacred, for me, my ancestor altar is my most sacred altar that I have. It's my only altar that isn't like out in the open. It's somewhere private for me where I can go, and I will talk more about altars in my next video. But it's a place where, you can go and connect, okay? And they need you to connect. In the spirit world, they need energy. So by you working with them and giving them offerings, and by giving them your energy and love, they can advance, and they can, break through blockages in the spirit world. But in return, they can help you break through blockages here. Okay, so they can help with your business. They can help with you, just the things, maybe you're dealing with karmic situations here on earth. It's a good relationship to have, because they manifested you, and they want to see you win in this life. Okay, and they've already been through this life, so they know things that you don't know, and they're gonna give you that wisdom. But it's important that you make time for them, and you connect with them, and you give them offerings. And ancestor work and connection and ancestor veneration, this is like one of the oldest practices around the world in different cultures, in many different cultures. Okay, so this is something that people do because they know, they're communicating, and they know it's working, and they feel it. And I tell you what, like within the first week of me working with my ancestors, my entire life literally blossomed within a week. The emotion that I felt the first time I sat down with my ancestors was like unreal. Okay, and honestly, now that I think about it, I've had so many signs from my grandma this week. And now that I think about it, so like they're really like they connect with you, and they want you to connect with them, and that you guys still can share a bond, and you guys can still share this love, like no matter if you're here in the physical world and they're in the spiritual world. So I want to recap that just a little bit. By working with your ancestors, you give them strength to move up within the spiritual realm, okay? By giving them the energy, by giving them offerings, by, working with them, you give them strength. You give them energy to, move up through the spirit realm, to work through blockages. And in return, they're going to do the same for you. They're going to protect you. They're going to watch out for you. They're going to help you break through family karmic cycles, okay? They're going to help you, prosper in your business, especially if you are a spiritual person, if you are a spiritual business owner. I think that working with your ancestors is an absolute must, okay? Especially if you are a family from like entrepreneurs or things like that. Like your family, your lineage, your ancestors are going to give you so much wisdom and knowledge to pursue, your spiritual journey, your business, and really to help you to grow and evolve in this world. By feeding your ancestors, and again, I will talk more about this with the altar video, but you'll be giving offerings, and such as water or libations, food, things like that you'll be giving your ancestors. So by doing that, you're feeding them, and again, you are giving them that energy and that strength in the spiritual world, so that they can conquer, and so that they can do what they need to do within the spiritual world, because they had a purpose here on earth. And then once they transition, they still, have work to do in the spirit realm, and you're going to help them. And believe me, you're going to feel their energy. And even without, really having an ancestor altar, if you are someone who, could be fine 1 minute, and then all of a sudden you just remember your grandpa or, your aunt that passed away, that is you. You might not be seeing them, but you're feeling them around you. Okay. So if you are one of those people that like feel and, feel your ancestors or feel your loved ones, or just get really upset because all of a sudden you start thinking about them, that's you feeling them all around you, okay? Or if you like smell their perfume or things like that. And I actually talk about this in my dream visitation video too, and I will link that below. But if you are someone who can easily, you know, feel passed on loved ones, that you definitely want to work with your ancestors by building an altar and by, you know, just sharing that connection with them. By working with your ancestors and connecting with your ancestors, you are going to, you know, reach abundance so much easier, and you're going to have protection, spiritual protection. And it's important to know too, I think, that, you know, your ancestors might not be able to do everything for you. Okay, they might, you know, not be able to protect you over some certain thing, but they're gonna lead you. They're gonna show you, they're gonna lead you to who can help you. Okay, and I've actually had this happen to me, and it was literally, it's just, I don't know, sometimes it just still amazes me how spirit works. But like, if it's something that your spirit guides cannot do, let's say they just don't have the strength enough to do it or something like that, they're going to be able to lead you or to bring you in someone that can help you, that can offer the knowledge or the guidance that you need. Okay, so it's really important to trust in that too, and that, you know, that they're able to, you know, guide you and not just, you know, always protect you or send you abundance or things like that, but they will guide you to where you can find your own abundance and, you know, someone else that can, you know, lead you to the protection that you need. So there are some different ways that you can connect to your ancestors and to your lineage. I believe that just meditating on them, whether you really have an altar or not, but just, you know, because they're always with you. So even during meditation, if you just ask, you know, your grandma to come through or things like that, or, you know, just ask for wisdom from them, I think that is okay. But definitely meditation is a great way to connect with your ancestors, especially after you have your altar set up. And meditating at your altar is, you know, obviously what most of us use it for. So next I have talked about it a lot kind of this video, but it's setting up an altar, and I'm going to share all of that in my next video. But when you set up an altar, you make it your very own place where you get to go and remember and, you know, connect with your passed on loved ones, and you get to add, you know, different things to your altar. You get to add, you know, things that were your grandparents or your ancestors or your passed on loved ones. You get to add things that were theirs to the altar. You get to add pictures, and, you know, you can really just make it your own, okay? And it's just a really beautiful place where you get to go and just be and connect and to talk with them and to feel their energy. And I swear, still to this day, when I sit at my ancestor altar, I still get emotional, because it's just an emotional, like, all of the energy, and it makes me, like, I get so grateful because I feel so grateful because I still get to connect with them, but at the same time, like, I'm human and I miss them, you know. But oh my gosh, I'm a Cancer moon, y'all. I cry over everything, but it's really an emotional time for me. It's never really sad. It's just emotional, and it's, you know, it's a lot of energy, but it's very, very beautiful, and it's somewhere where I like to go. It's a really beautiful thing, and I'm really, really excited to start talking about this on my channel. Like I said earlier, I've been planning on doing this since April. So it's been a while, but I'm here doing it, and I'm excited to do my first series. So if you guys really like this video and you have some comments or anything you want to let me know about your lineage or your ancestors, let me know below. And yeah, you can find me on Instagram at @TheDragonWitch and at SirensSerenity. I'm hoping to have the next video for the Ancestor Connecting with Your Lineage series out next week, so it won't be a super long wait. And yeah, I hope you guys all have a beautiful day. You guys can find my spiritual products at SirensSerenity.com. I'll talk to you guys later.